Oh hey, didn't see you there. Did you know that in the medieval times, animals, just like humans, could be tried for crime? Just like you. Oh, wait, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners? Hi there, I'm Arizona Smith.
Arizona.
Oh. Hey, Guancho.
I was actually just reading a book on the medieval times.
Funny you say that, Guancho.
Arizona.
Anywho, the medieval ages, also known as the Dark Ages, ranged from about 500 to 1500.
Wow, how'd they live their lives?
I was getting to that, Guancho.
I'm sorry.
If you were sorry, you would not have done it. As I was saying, peasant life was hard. Most peasants worked to eat. They harvested their own crops throughout the year. Peasant life was not fun, and they were paid little with what extra crops they had to sell. Unfortunately, the lifespan back then was short, mainly from death in infancy. Even without that factor, peasants and slaves died relatively young. Life wasn't all harvesting crops. Other jobs included bakers, tanners, and even smithies. The people who had these jobs usually had better lives than the majority of the peasants who just supported themselves. Most peasants that worked would have been working for their fief's king. This was the basis of serfdom, and they got little pay for their services. Even though they may not get much from their kings, they do get one important thing: protection. In return for the peasants' loyalty and services to their king, the king gives protection from outside invaders. Even though they had the king's knights at their back, living wasn't very fancy. A standard peasant's home was a simple design of cruck and daub. These were basic building materials, made of plaster and wood. The inside was not very fancy. Usually it was a single room with an enclosed spot for the animals. There wasn't many furniture besides a fireplace, some beds filled with straw, and a table and some chairs. Besides the inside, they usually had a small wheat farm outside and maybe some other vegetables if they were farmers. Peasants had tough lives, for sure. Edwingo! So glad you could show up!
Arizona, I have a question.
What's that, buddy?
How did the peasants get through their tough lives?
Wow, that's a great question, Edwingo. Nice catch. Well, you know, back then there were no VHS or cassette players. No Walkman for you, Edwingo.
Oh, rats.
But they had other means of entertainment.
Then what did they do for fun?
Well, back then, the kings had their own private jesters. The jesters had many funny and clever tricks. They would amuse the king with many jokes and stunts. The king would laugh and laugh and laugh at his jesters' puzzles and tricks. Take him away! There were also many exciting events, such as jousting.
Whoa, Arizona. What in the world is jousting?
I was just about to get to that, silly. So jousting is an adrenaline-pumping sport with long, sword-like sticks. The knights dress up in colorful armor and decorate their horses with armor. They then command their valiant steeds to run full force at each other in an attempt to knock each other off their steed. The last man standing wins!
But what happens if they fall?
They'd fall and possibly die, silly.
I have to go.
Edwingo, wait. Please stay.
You know what? Your videos are stinky anyway. I'm done here.
Fine. Have you managed to get A-list look with severe constipation issues? Arizona, today let's go home. Try cranberries. Anywho, the peasants were the only ones who made up the population in medieval times. The rich and those of royalty had quite the interesting lives, too. People like the rich and the lords love to do things like hawking in their spare time. For those of you who don't know, hawking is a form of hunting where nobles would take their trained hawks and send them to go catch other game. The wealthy also had daily lives and obligations, just like the peasants. First thing in the morning, the king would wake up and tend to the matters of the masses. Then, at the end of the day, there'd usually be a feast. The king and his house guest would always enjoy a nice feast with some entertainment. Oh. Hey, Barney.
Mi tío wants the money.
I can't do this right now. I'm filming, okay?
That's what you said last week, hombre.
Sorry, kids. Let's get back to
Let me say this. Captain Dale will now teach you about weapons and warfare in medieval times.
Hi, I'm Captain Dale Dye, and today I'm going to teach you about medieval warfare and the tactics they used. One of the weapons that they used was the double-handed battle axe, like this here weapon. Now, for this, had many uses. You could use it on top of a horse, you could get it in close-range combat. You could do many things with this weapon. Now, you could hook them around. From here, you could hook their shields around. If he remembered his shield, you could get their ankles, trip them, and then get them on the ground, you know? And then kill shot, and then kill shot, and then kill shot. It's a very versatile weapon. Now, the other weapon we were going to show was the single-handed battle axe, which Jimmy here forgot, okay? Now get out. Knights are so forgetful, am I right or am I right? Okay, let's go. Now, this weapon is the single-handed battle axe, used in many different ways. Usually used on a farm, but also thrown at the enemy, or used as close-quarters weapon, and very deadly. Jimmy, come on over. Bring a horse. Okay, that's good to hear. Okay, so another thing that they invented at the time that was very, very helpful for warfare is stirrups. You can see on his feet, he has stirrups. Should have had stirrups. Anyway, what it would help that you do is you could use a weapon while you were on your horse. Now you didn't have to worry about falling when you were using your weapon or getting killed on your horse. Now for a demonstration. Yeah! You see, he didn't have to worry about falling off. And now the last weapon for today is the broadsword. Now since Jimmy here forgot to bring the broadsword as well, knights are knights. Can't do nothing about it. We have this broadsword, one of the most basic swords made. Now, you can do so many things. You can dice it, you can slice it, you can jab it a little hard. But hey, it's a sword. What are you gonna do? So now, look, you can go into the kill shot right there. Go in for the kill shot right there, and go on for the kill shot right there. Now, a battle is normally planned by the commander, but it was also debated between the different leaders. However, decisions were usually made by the church. Now, there were two different types of battles. Pitched battles and siege warfare. Write that down. Good job. During pitched battles, they used battering rams to break down doors and walls. They used something called the cat, a structure that was built at the enemy's wall and would claw at it. The weasel was very similar to the cat, but was smaller, making it easier to move. The weasel spiked at the wall rather than clawing at it like the cat did. They also used biological weapons. One way was catapulting dead or infected animals at the enemy over their castle's walls. Now, are there any questions? No? Good. Back to you, Arizona.
Thanks, Cap. And sorry, kids, for the interruption. Arizona just owns the wrong people large sums of money. What is it, Guancho?
I just wanted to...
To what? Bug me?
No, I wanted to ask you about how the royalty lived in medieval times.
Well, maybe. If you had the patience of even a 5-year-old girl, you would let me get there.
Fight!
Anywho, the royalty lived in big buildings called castles. Castles were built to protect what was inside. castles were built on higher land for a tactical advantage, with many direct accesses to the sea. This was for trade. There were many layers of walls for a castle. The outermost wall is called the curtain wall, which was 6 to 20 feet thick. On each end of this wall, there were lookout towers. After that wall, there are often other layers of random walls of various thicknesses. One type of door they used was the drawbridge. It would keep outsiders from coming in fast and doubled as a door in a bridge to get over the moat, which was basically a pool surrounding the curtain wall. Some moats could even be 30 feet deep. Another door they had was called a portcullis, which is a heavy grilled door that was suspended and meant to be lowered quickly if under attack. But the most strongly defended point of the castle was the keep. The keep was a tower where the king and queen and their guests would live. Because of the weak defenses in the entrance, a gatehouse was placed there. These contained many defenses to fend off oncoming assaults. There were also very small windows in the castles, which were basically slits, and they got bigger and bigger the higher they went. Well, that's all for today, kids. I hope that you learned a lot today, just like your old pal Arizona. Remember to tune in next week when we do the Italian Renaissance. Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap. Cut.
Oh, sweet Denzel Washington's undies. That was a show.
Nah, yeah, I really felt the energy in that show.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna make the Superbucks coffee. You want me to?
Do you want anything?
And,
Is my name Arizona Smith?
yeah.
Then yeah, I think I want something, okay?
You mean you want anything?
Yes, no, dude, go get my cappuccino right now. Please, please. I have
Frappuccino?
dinner with Mr. Cameron. Seriously, come on.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Oh.